Today is March the 3rd. 3-3. I remember during the war in Bosnia and Herzegovina, or we call it the aggression on Bosnia and Herzegovina. Serbs used to put up 3 fingers to indicate the Holy Trinity, and the Croatians used to put up 2 fingers to indicate the victory, which left Bosnians with just the middle finger. So that's how you would know whose checkpoint you were crossing or whose territory you were in. So if you were to drive or move through Bosnia and Herzegovina, you would see people randomly like flashing 3 signs or 2 signs at you, and you knew if they were flashing 2 signs, they were Roman Catholics. If they were flashing 3 signs, they were Orthodox Christians, and I guess Bosnians were not flashing anything. But that's the joke that I came up with. We were left with the middle finger, and that was our only weapon, against the aggression. The embargo was imposed upon us, so the weapons could not be distributed to Bosnian sides. Even though we had weapons, from some other sources, we also had businessmen who wanted to make money, so they made sure that the Bosnians had guns as well. Nevertheless, most of people did not have an access to gun as much as the Serbs or Croats did. But that's really not what I wanted to talk about. But because it's March the 3rd, and every time I show up the sign 3, reminds me of the Serbs. I am a Bosnian, I am a Serb, I am a Croat, I am all these categories. In my family we have Roman Christians, we have Muslims, we have Orthodox Christians, we have Jews, we have Romani, and there are some people too. March the 3rd is celebrated in my hometown of Konjic as the Day of Liberation against the Germans in the Second World War. So the Germans troop left Bosnia and Herzegovina, or left my hometown Konjic, in 1945 on March the 3rd. As they were leaving, they blew up, detonated a bridge that was in the town. It was an old bridge, it was a couple of 100 years old, and they destroyed it. I don't know if they did it or the partisans did it, but the bridge was destroyed in order for the Germans, so they couldn't take heavy artillery with them or to cut off their supplies. I don't know the story. It's available on Wikipedia if you want to know about it. But nevertheless, for some reason, March the 3rd became as our kind of day of liberation against the Germans. And my elementary school was named properly March the 3rd. So there were 2 elementary schools. One was on each side of the river. One was called March the 3rd. The other one was called Zvonimir Belšanona, which means the name of a hero from the Second World War. Again, I'm going to put this down because the sun is shining right at me. Yes, there you go, like a little bit like this. Although I do like the sun in my face. So the way it was decided in my hometown, that if you lived on the left side of the river, you went to the March the 3rd, and if you lived on the right side of the river, you went to the other elementary school. So the other elementary school was next to this big cemetery, so we called them the graveyards, or the grave diggers, and we were the March the 3rd. So in town sometimes we would like try to fight each other, you know, like, oh, look, it's the grave diggers, or it's the March the 3rd guys, and you know, every city had that, you know. Some people are from Manchester City, some people are from Manchester United, you know, or whatever. So you have these people arguing, fighting each other for no reason except that they belong to different groups, they cheer on for a different team, blah blah blah. As we, you know, really don't need any reasons to fight. You know, I read somewhere that since the beginning of humankind, that there has been about 33,000 wars. We fought over everything, you know, and that speaks so much about our humanity. I mean, obviously we are not evolved to a point that we know how to peacefully resolve our situations, so we turn to violence, you know, because, you know, we want to get our way, and there's our way or highway, my way or Norway. So we all end up in Norway. This story that I wanted to share today is one of vandalism, which is again violent. 555 on a license plate right in front of me. Amazing. And as I was recording the video, I saw 555, and a car on a license plate also had 555. I'm sitting in front of a local grocery store called Sobeys, which is funny. It's called S-O-B-E-Y-S. So between S and S, it's Obey. But the full name is Sobeys. I'm waiting for my kid to finish his school, and he finishes at 3 o'clock. I just finished my work, and then we will go to gym to exercise. It's very important. Where was I? At 555. The story that I am trying to say today, I will get to it, is about the school vandalism. You know, a couple of students in my elementary school were expelled because, you know, they just didn't do their work. They couldn't do their work. Not everybody is academically oriented, you know, like school is definitely not meant for everybody. And you know, the uniformity that the school wants, everybody has to sit the same way, speak the same way, be the same way, learn the same way, it doesn't really work, because we are all different, really, you know. In the future we will all be the same. Can't wait for that. But for now we are different. So, you know, a lot of kids really were not interested in school. They were not, you know, even like motivated. Their parents would say, just go do that, finish that, and then when you come back you'll take care of the cows and sheep. You're a farmer or you're a construction worker. You don't worry about the school at all. They were not placing any importance in school. So these kids were expelled from school or something like that, and they decided to retaliate. So they went to the school, picked up a whole bunch of rocks, and broke almost every window in the school. So they just kept throwing rocks at the school until they broke all these windows. Wow. My friends invited me for a walk. It was these two girls that are still in Bosnia and Herzegovina. One is now very religious. She married a very religious man. She lives as a devout Muslim, prays 5 times a day. Yet when we were kids, she was as punk as me. She was very rock and roll. But, you know, things changed. The war made people more religious. They turned towards God because they really could not find any answers to their prayers and problems in society and among the people. So the only way was to kind of turn to God. The other girl also did the same thing. I was really, you know, I was kind of not in love, but I liked one of these girls. And my parents and I also kind of secretly hope that maybe one day we'll get married together. But wasn't meant to be. I was too much into rock and roll, and the world was waiting for me. Nevertheless, I was on a kind of double date. The two of them invited me to go for a walk. So the three of us went for a little walk. I got dressed. This is elementary school, and I was like maybe grade 6, grade 7, something, maybe grade 8. Our elementary school went for 8 years, and then there was specialized high school for 4 years, after which you can become a employable person. So let's say a nurse, you go to 8 years for elementary school, and then 4 years of specialized nursing high school, you're a nurse. You're a mechanic. You are, a lot of different fields didn't really need education past high school, really. So that system worked really well. Here in North America, after high school, the only thing you can do is flip burgers, really, or serve beer. So you really need to go to college or to university to become employable. But we were completely employable after high school. So in grade 8 of this elementary school, like I said, I went out for this walk. And of course, it's a small town. Where do we go? But do we know? We are still kids. Let's walk toward the school, because it's kind of cool to see our school on Sunday. It was like a Sunday or something like that, So we went, to the school, and not knowing that this is what happened on Saturday night, somebody broke all these windows. So we were walking around, it was a beautiful spring day, something like that. And then we saw the windows. Wow. There, the most famous photographer from my hometown, Mr. Dino Casalo, who passed away recently. We had one photographer in our hometown who was everything. His photos were everything, and I had a good relationship with him, just like I have a good relationship with a lot of photographers here in St. John's, Newfoundland, who take pictures at our shows, and I really appreciate them so much. You have no idea how much it means, or what it means to have actually somebody take a photo of you. It's like primitive tribes used to think this is magic. They didn't want people to take pictures of them, because they almost felt like somebody was taking a part of you, part of your essence, part of your energy, or stealing your identity by taking a picture of you. So when somebody takes a photo of you, it can be spiritual, not just physical. There's more to it, of course. So Dino asked us if he, could take a picture of us, and because he was writing for the local newspaper, also called March the 3rd, about the vandalism at the elementary school, March the 3rd. And he wanted to put some kind of picture next to it. So rather than just having a picture of the windows, he wanted to have a person there. So he had this brilliant idea. He said, can one of you just put your hand like this, and we'll take a picture, because nobody will recognize you, because look, like this, you can't really tell who it is. It's just a kid with a hand on his face, which is brilliant. Kind of like there's like an element of shame, element of like anonymity or something, like rebellion. It's pretty cool idea. And since I've always been a show off, like there's something about me that just wants to be there. Like look at my YouTube channel, it's all about me. You look at myself, in this video for like 20-30 minutes talking to myself. It's natural. I was born this way, just like Lady Gaga. This is who I am. I want to talk. I want to share everything that happened to me, because I believe that my life is a gift, just like I am a gift to the world. All these things that happen to me, they have a meaning. And a lot of times that meaning is not up to me. It's up to the listener to decide whether, has a positive or negative meaning, or is it inspiring or not. So, yes, of course I want to be in the local newspaper. So he took a picture of me posing like this and posted about vandalism in the local elementary school called March the 3rd. And of course, everybody recognized me. I mean, my friends recognized me, the teachers. And I was the best student in my school. And I was one of the best students of all time in my generation and in the history of my hometown. I'm not joking. I was a bloody genius. My IQ tests were like really, 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 really high. I mean, I speak 7 languages. I play pretty much any instrument that I pick up. I have a certain, predisposition towards some things, while not for others. I went to like competitions in mathematics, physics, blah, blah, blah. I was an honorary student, In former Yugoslavia, out of 27 million people, after I did my IQ test to enter the most prestigious military college, I came in second. The guy that had a higher IQ than me and I used to play chess without the board. I mean, as kids, we were geniuses. There was something that just, something that you were born with. And then I discovered drugs and alcohol and rock and roll. Not so much sex, but I had sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I definitely had drugs and rock and roll. Sex came later. So it was kind of like, what the hell, man? This guy is like the nerdest of the nerds. Like, yet I was a cool nerd because people would come up to me, and say, can you write my assignment? So I remember doing my tests and whatnot and assignments. I would write dozens of them. So many people passed school and passed tests because of me. So now when I go back to my hometown, people say to me, hey man, remember you helped me to this subject, to that subject, whatever you want, eat, drink, it's on me. Which is, amazing. I shared what I had just like they share what they have. What God gifted me with the universe was the intelligence, and I shared that. I was lazy as F. I wouldn't do some other things. Like I will always try to find a way to get out of work. But my friends will say, look, we'll do the work, you do this part. So we'll do everything else, we'll go clean up, but you end up, writing our papers. So you can imagine, the talk of the town, like what happened, why would Eldin break all these windows? To this day, it has been kind of one of those like local legends that nobody has an answer to. And as a kid, really, nobody wanted to approach me to ask me. Some of my close friends knew what happened, and I told them the story that Dino would actually ask me to take a picture of it. They actually didn't believe me. For some reason, they didn't believe the fact that he would ask me to do something like that. They thought that I wanted to show off or whatever it was. It was in the newspaper. It's true. But I was like, why would I pause in a newspaper like this, like for this, like why would I like rat myself out? They honestly believed, yeah, you would do that. That's who you are. I was always a troublemaker, because I wanted to stir up troubles and change things. Obviously, even then I knew that the system of education was skewed. I watched my friends suffer through these courses. They were like, oh my God, Eldin, what are you talking about? I have no idea. Help me out, please, man. And I would listen to them. It's like, sure, man, no worries here. This is the answer, write like this, do that. Like, I mean, whether it was art or English, like, Serbo-Croatian language, essays, writing, mathematics, physics later on, I would help. So the vandalism at the elementary school March 3rd was kind of blamed at me, but nobody paid attention to it. There you go. Happy March the 3rd, the day against the liberation of fascism in my hometown of Konjic. Today is March 3rd as well too. Hello to all the Serbs. That's it. It's about 3 o'clock. My kid will come out now. We're going to the gym. See you in the next video. Love you all.